I will show you how you can create these type of viral TikTok art challenge videos. It's actually super easy. Watch this. First thing you need is a canvas that has that typical TikTok or reel or short sizing. And that's 1080 pixels by 1920. If you need to resize your canvas, you can always go to the wrench here at the top, then to canvas, then to crop and resize. And here under settings, you can change your canvas size and then tap done. Then what you need is a base shape, a character, an animal, or perhaps a food. It can be anything. And you need that to be a line art on a separate layer. I chose a sloth because I think there are never too many sloths on the internet. So for this instruction, we'll be using this little guy. Now what we'll be doing is we'll create an animation in Procreate. And for our animation, every frame will be a different version of our sloth, or perhaps in your case of your character or your other type of animal. And first you need to think about what type of things you want people to pick from. So for instance, we can pick a couple of colors for the fur. That could be the first section of our challenge video. And what we need is to always have a duplicate of our line art. And then we can tap the plus and we can drag that new layer underneath our line art. And we can set the line art to reference. Now we can drop a color in here and you can pick whatever color you like. We could go for like a traditional color for our sloth. So perhaps a bit of an orange color, and we can drop it in. I'll have to adjust my color drop threshold a bit so we don't get any gaps. So we can just fill that in and just check if you don't have any weird gaps. I think this looks good. And we could pick another color for that face area. You could also do this separately, of course. Well, let's go for a lighter color there. And then what we can do is we can duplicate this layer, slide to the left, tap duplicate, and then drag that one to this line art layer. And to keep things organized, you can group your layers. You can slide to the right on these two layers and then group them. So this is our first version. And then for this one, let's tap this layer, turn on alpha lock, and then pick another color. Maybe this one is purple. So grab a color, then tap that colored layer and use fill layer. That way we don't have to drag in the color each time, but we can use a different color for the face, maybe a lighter purple, and drag that in there. And then we'll just repeat this process. We could group these two also. Close that group and then duplicate the group. So we are going to make frames of sloths with different colors. By the way, you can download my sloth through the link in the description if you want to use it to practice with. Now let's open this group, go back to that colored layer and add a different color. Maybe something that is more blue. And then let's go back to that layer. I almost dropped it in, but let's go back to the layer and then tap it and use fill layer. And then for the face, we could go for something opposite, maybe some yellowish color. Then let's duplicate this again. This group, slide to the left, tap duplicate, open the group. Let's make maybe a darker colored sloth, something like this. Tap the layer, use fill layer, and then let's grab something lighter for the face. Then let's duplicate it one more time. You can do this as many times as you like. Maybe you would like a whole bunch of colors. That's totally fine. Let's go back to that colored layer. Let's grab a bright pink and tap the layer and use fill layer again. I would like to show you how you can add a bit of a gradient here. Maybe you would like a multicolored character or animal or the sloth. Then let's go to the airbrushing brushes and use the soft brush. And for the bottom part, let's use purple. And let's go over the underside. And then for the top, we can go for an orangey color. And then for the face, we could grab a yellow and then make a layer on top here. Let's tap the plus and drag that onto the face. So now we have multiple colors for the fur, a few options. Now let's move on and try something else. Let's go for nail color. We can duplicate this group, and then we can open this. We can remove these layers or just remove this one, tap delete, and then this one and use clear. But do make sure that you turn off alpha lock, otherwise you won't be able to use that layer. And let's turn these off for now. And now let's go for the nails. We can do multiple nail color options, like red, for instance. We can just drop the color in there. You can use continue filling and just go along the nails or whatever part of your illustration you want to fill. And now we are just going to repeat the process that we just used. So we are going to duplicate this multiple times, and every time we are going to use alpha lock here and add a different color or a gradient, or maybe you would like to use a specific pattern. All totally fine. I'll just go for a yellow, for instance, tap that layer, use fill layer, until you have a bunch of options like this. So now we have 5 options for the nails, 5 options for colors. Another thing you could do is go for accessories, for instance. And to add those, I would recommend adding a new layer and then just using your favorite sketching brush and then sketch out some different options on different layers. And it could be nice to first get a duplicate of your line art. So let's turn these off. To open this, remove this colored layer and lower the opacity of that line art so that it's easier to sketch any accessories on top. And for instance, you could go for like a top hat, something like this. And then on another layer, you could make a cap, perhaps. So just sketch out some ideas. And what you could also do, I'm on a new layer, by the way, what you could also do is get inspiration from emojis. You could go to the wrench, then to add, and then to add text. And then here we have the emojis. And for instance, we could go for a crown. Let's grab the crown. Then you can go to the Move and Transform tool. And then you can just make it bigger and add a crown. You could just add this crown, or you could use this as a base for your sketch and line art. Then it would turn out looking something like this. So for each accessory, you can add line art and colors. You can make it as detailed and as polished as you like, or keep it very simple. So now I have multiple accessories on different layers, and now we just need to add the line art of the sloth to them. Let's turn up the opacity for this one, and then let's duplicate this. And then we just need to add the accessories to the line art. Let's just turn these on. So every time you need a duplicate group, let's remove this. Let's just make a few more duplicates and just add those accessories to those groups. let's duplicate it one more time. For these wings, I'd like them to be behind the line art. And then finally the crown. So now we have a bunch of fur colors, nail colors, and accessories. Depending on your type of character, you could also add eye color, perhaps a lip color, type of ears, type of wings. You can go totally wild as long as you have each option in a different group. That's very important for our animation. So now we are going to turn all of these layers on, or all of these groups. So let's turn these layers on. So we can start our animation process. Now, if you are running into like an issue with your layer space, I would suggest just merging these. You can just flatten them and have everything on one layer. So you just tap it, use flatten, and do that for all of the groups. And then the trick is to turn this into an animation. We need to go to the wrench, then to canvas, and then turn on animation assist. Now you can see that when you hit play, you will get this animation moving through each of the options. But of course, we want our viewer to have a little bit more time to pick either the fur color or the nails or the accessories. So to do that, we are going to make duplicates. So let's start with the fur color group. Let's select all of these, all 5, and then drag them onto the canvas. And then it will turn up here at the top. And let's just do that again. Let's select the top 5, drag them onto the canvas. So we have 10 of these. Now we can select all 10. And we are going to drag them down to this area. So at the bottom, we have all the fur colors. And now we are going to do that again, but down with the nails. Select all 5, drag them onto the canvas, and then let's select them here at the top, drag them on again, and then just select all of them here and drag them down. So the next section is the nail color. And then finally for the accessories, drag them onto the canvas, and then again, select the top and drag it on again. So the top section is all the accessories. So now when we hit play, our viewer will have a bit more time selecting each section. Now, if you want this to go faster, you can go to settings, turn up the frames per second to, for instance, like 13. And then we can hit pause so we don't go crazy. And like I said, you can add as much as you like. This is just the basics of creating an animation like this. And once you're happy with this, you can export it to your phone. You can go to the wrench, then to share. Oh, by the way, before we move on, I'd just like to let you know that if you want to create even more awesome things in Procreate, then you really need to check out my Patreon. You'll find more than 200 Procreate tutorials there with a really wide variety of subjects. And also, it's just an amazing community. So I'll just leave a link for you in the description. Then to animated MP4. And here you'll see your animation. And then you can tap export. And for instance, airdrop it to your phone. And then once it's on your phone, you can upload it to TikTok. And then when you see your animation, what you could do is, if you would like to add text like fur, nails, accessories, you can go to the text option here. And for instance, you could go for fur or pick fur, grab any of the fonts you'd like, and then tap ready, or well, in Dutch, it's gereed. And right now the color, it's not really perfect. Let me change the color to black. And then you can tap your text and then adjust the timing. I'm sorry it's in Dutch, but top section is adjust the timing, and then you can just slide this if your finger allows it. And I slide it until you get to the next section. So until here. And then when you go for like this little check mark, you'll see that it'll only say fur during that section where you see the fur. So you can repeat this with other texts, and then you're done and you can post your video on TikTok. Now, in case you would like to have a bit of a break at the end of your video, or maybe a little introduction at the start, then you could just make a screen with a duplicate. For instance, you could go for one with color, or you could go for a sloth with a crown, and we can put it at the top, or it was already at the top, and then just make a few of them. So you get a bit more time there of that single sloth, and you can just duplicate it as many times as you like. And then at TikTok, you could, just like with the other sections, you could add a bit of text at the end. Now, this was, in a nutshell, a way to create these viral type of TikTok art challenge videos. Please be sure to share your version in the comments, or tag me on TikTok, of course, because I would love to see your version. See you next time.